Buy on MTG. Construct your deck. Command your board. Conquer the table.
Hello out there on the wide world of web. This is Rob with Buy on MTG. We're going to play some Commander tonight, and I am won the die roll, so I'm going to be on the play. I'm playing Viren, Voice of Duality, and the primary objective of this is play Thrumming Stone and Dragon's Approach and hope the double triggers get me there. Cheers.
Hi.
Oh, wait, we're going that way. My bad. There we go.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm playing Kenrith the Returned King, Mono White Devotion, and I'm going to be out of frame.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm also playing Kenrith the Returned King, and my deck plays creatures that I want to hit with board wipes and then cast a bunch of board wipes.
Nice.
Fantastic. I'm James. I'm playing Koma the World Eater. I want to do Simic things, but most of all, I want to make so many copies of my commander that I just crush everyone.
That seems reasonable. Yeah, it seems awesome. All right.
Rob won the die roll, so he leads us off with a Snarl, revealing an island and passing over to Ryan. Ryan starts out with a Plains and then taps it and casts a Border Post for the alternate cast and returns the Plains back to his hand, passing over to Jeff. Jeff starts out by shocking at a Temple Garden, taking 2, and then tapping for Birds of Paradise. Passing over to James, he draws and plays a Tangled Isle, passing over to Rob. Rob draws and plays that island that he just revealed, taps 2, 1 being red for a Harmonic Prodigy. Passing over to Ryan, he untaps and draws for turn, plays that Plains that he just bounced back, taps for 2 for a Knight of White Orchid, targeting Rob because he has more basics, so he gets to go get a Plains, puts it straight into play. Ryan shocks in the Godless Shrine, taking 2 damage, and then taps it for a Soul Ring, passing over to Jeff. Jeff untaps and draws for turn. He taps the land for a Soul Ring, and then he plays a tapped Triome, taps the Soul Ring and the Birds of Paradise for a Wood Elves, which is going to trigger, and he goes to find another Forest Triome, passing over to James. James untaps and draws for turn, plays a Snow-Covered Forest, and then taps 2 for a Talisman of Curiosity, passing over to Rob. Rob untaps and draws for turn, plays another island, taps for 3, brings out his commander, passing over to Ryan. Ryan untaps and draws for turn. He plays a Karoo land, so that's going to have to bounce the Plains. He then taps for 4 for a Athreos, God of Passage. Ryan moves to combat, sends the message by swinging the Knight of the White Orchid over at James for 2. Passing over to Jeff, he untaps and draws for turn. Jeff plays Mountain as his land for turn, and then taps for 5, running out Kenrith. He then taps 2 more for a Soulfire Grandmaster. Passing over to James, he's going to untap and draw for turn. James taps for 3 for a Kadama's Reach, finds a basic into play and 1 to his hand, and then he plays the Arid Archway for his land for turn. Passing over to Rob, he's going to untap and he draws for turn. Plays the Mountain as his land for turn, and then taps for 3 for a Dragon's Approach. Dragon's Approach is going to do 3 damage to each opponent. It's also going to trigger Viren. Viren sees the trigger and copies it, so it triggers an additional time, and then Harmonic Prodigy makes the Viren trigger an additional time to get +3/+3 until end of turn. Harmonic Prodigy is going to trigger to get +1/+1, and Viren's going to see that and make the trigger happen again, so it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Rob moves to combat, sends the commander, Viren, at Ryan for 5 commander damage, and then the Harmonic Prodigy for 3 at James. Done with his turn, he passes over to Ryan. Ryan untaps and draws for turn. Ryan plays that Plains for the 3rd time this game. Ryan then taps for 6 to play the other Athreos, the Shrouded Veiled. This amount of devotion brings Athreos God of Passage online. Ryan moves to combat, and he returns the favor back to Rob, hitting Rob with Athreos God of Passage for 5, and he swings the Knight of the White Orchid over at James for 2. Ryan moves to his end step. Athreos Shrouded Veil is going to trigger, going to put the coin counter on Athreos God of Passage, and then passing over to Jeff. Jeff untaps and draws for turn, suspiciously counts his mana, and then just plays a land and passes over to James. James untaps and draws for turn. James plays a Snow-Covered Forest as his land for turn. He then taps for 2 for a Sakura Tribe Elder. With the 1 floating from the Arid Archway, he taps 1 blue for a Phantasmal Image, copying Birds of Paradise. Done with his turn, he's passing over to Rob. Rob untaps and draws for turn. Rob plays a Training Center, comes into play untapped due to the amount of opponents he has. Rob taps for 5 and crosses his fingers, hoping it resolves, and plays a Thrumming Stone. Done with his turn, he passes over to Ryan. Ryan's going to untap and draw for turn. Ryan plays a Nykthos Shrine to Nyx as his land for turn. Pretty good in a Devotion deck. Ryan uses Soul Ring to activate the Nykthos, generating 5 white mana. Using the 5 white mana to run out a Divinity of Pride, already meeting the 25 or higher life threshold for +4/+4. Ryan then taps 5 more to bring out Kenrith the Returned King. Ryan moves to combat, swings Athrio God of Passage at Jeff, the Knight of the White Orchid at James, and Athrio's Shrouded Veil at Rob. Jeff declares no blocks. James puts Steve in front of the Knight of the White Orchid, and Rob declares no blocks. Before damage, James is going to sacrifice Steve to go find a basic. Rob takes 4 damage, and Jeff takes 5. Ryan then moves to his end step and puts the coin counter on Divinity of Pride, passing over to Jeff. On Ryan's end step, Jeff is going to activate Kenrith twice to draw 2 cards. Jeff untaps and draws for turn. Jeff does some quick goat math and then taps to do Savage Twister for 4. Savage Twister is going to do 4 damage to each creature because of Jeff's Soulfire Grand Master. That spell has lifelink, so there are 11 creatures, so Jeff is going to gain 44, going up to 74 life. James's creature dies, all of Rob's creatures die. The only thing that Ryan is going to lose is Knight of the White Orchid, which is going to trigger Athreos. Jeff is going to pay 3 life so it doesn't go back to his hand, and then Jeff loses everything but Kenrith. Jeff moves to combat and swings Kenrith for 5 commander damage at Rob's face. Before damage, he activates Kenrith and puts a +1 counter on it, so he takes 1 more. Passing over to James, he's going to untap and draw for turn. James plays a Reliquary Tower as his land for turn. James taps for 7 mana and runs out Coma for the first time. Done with his turn, he passes over to Rob. Rob's going to untap and draw for turn. Rob plays a Scalding Tarn as his land for turn. Rob then taps for 3 for the second Dragon's Approach this game. Thrumming Stone trigger is going to reveal 2 Dragon's Approach. Resolving the first Thrumming Stone trigger reveals an additional Dragon's Approach. With 2 Thrumming Stone triggers on the stack, resolving the first one reveals no cards. Resolving the second and final Thrumming Stone trigger reveals another Dragon's Approach, which is going to put another trigger on the stack. Resolving the last Thrumming Stone trigger again reveals a 2 Dragon's Approach, putting 2 triggers on the stack. Resolving the first of 2 Thrumming Stone trigger reveals 2 more Dragon's Approach, putting 2 more triggers on the stack. Resolving the first of 3 Thrumming Stone triggers is a miss. Resolving the second trigger, leaving 1 more on the stack, reveals no Dragon's Approach and is a miss. Resolving the last and final Thrumming Stone trigger reveals 1 Dragon's Approach, putting 1 more on the stack. And finally, resolving the last Thrumming Stone trigger is a miss, putting a total of 10 copies of Dragon's Approach on the stack. After the 5th resolved, Rob is going to exile the Dragon's Approach, going to find Niv-Mizzet Perron. After the 10th copy resolves, he's going to exile and find Niv-Mizzet Visionary. The 30 damage is going to knock out Ryan and James, leaving just Jeff at 41 life. With Niv-Mizzet Perron, the cast of a spell will cause Rob to draw a card. When he draws a card, it will trigger Niv-Mizzet Perron to do 1 damage. With Niv-Mizzet Visionary, that 1 damage will cause Rob to draw a card, which will trigger Niv-Mizzet Perron, causing damage equal to the number of cards in Rob's library. Rob realizes he should have cracked the Scalding Tarn while he was searching for the dragons, but he does so now. And with the combo on the stack, Rob taps for 3 for an additional Dragon's Approach, and we all agree that that is game. Hello out there in the wide world of web. This is Rob with Bion MTG. So today's Commander game was a lot of fun. I had a new member join us, Jeff, who's been a longtime player here in the Spokane area and just a good guy. And it was nice that he was able to step up because unfortunately Jason was feeling ill, so still made it happen. This is the first time that we've shot a full Commander game in the new area, so there's definitely some hurdles with lighting that I'm going to have to address. You could tell in the sound there was a lot more reverb, so I'm going to have to get some sound dampening panels for the ceiling, but overall not too bad, and it was a lot of fun. Regarding the game, Ryan and Jeff really ramped out super fast, and James was not too far behind, but fortunately for me, it was just a slow and steady 1 land per turn, and was able to do the Dragon's Approach loop with the Thrumming Stone. I do think if it would have been a turn or 2 longer with the amount of life that Jeff was gaining off of Soulfire, I don't know that I would have been able to do enough damage to knock him down, but fortunately I was able to, and it was a lot of fun. We did record multiple games, so I'm going to continue editing and hopefully get those up over the next week or so and try and keep the regular schedule of recording. And I believe Jason's going to be back with us on the next time we shoot. I hope you enjoyed the game. I'm Rob. This is Bion MTG. Good luck and have fun.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below.